Okay, I'm Becca, and today I'm going to show you my presentation on adopting shelter animals. Here, just to start, are some alarming statistics, and they're actually kind of depressing. The first one is, there are over 164 million pet dogs and cats in the United States. 1 in every 20 will end up in a shelter by the end of the year. Second one is, each year between 3 to 4 million dogs and cats are put to sleep in shelters across the United States. And they get sadder. Roughly 5 out of every 10 dogs sent to the animal shelter will be euthanized. And I'll leave the last one. Next, we just have some organizations that support animals and animal rights. We have the Humane Society of the United States, National Mill Dog Rescue, Villalobos Rescue, which is on TV, and the ASPCA. I actually used to donate to the ASPCA, and not all their money goes where they say it's supposed to go, so I don't donate there anymore. But it's still an organization that supports animals. Just to talk about some credibility on me speaking on this subject, I'm an animal lover, so I do a lot of just research on my own, and I might also have 3 references from this presentation. The articles, or the facts from the first slide were from the dog adoption headquarters. And then now we're going to go into some pros on this topic. First pro is saving a life. When you adopt dogs from an animal shelter, you get the satisfaction of knowing that you saved an animal's life. And then the next part is what they will bring you is the unconditional love, and they will just make your life happy and bring you that companionship that you're looking for. The next part is the sad things on this topic. The biggest con to this topic is accessibility. Unfortunately, animal rights isn't something that is big priority for many people, so it's not something that many people care to donate to or take the time to pay attention to, which leads to the next part, which is trauma, which ends up happening to the animals, being in the shelters when they get brought in by people and families, or just end up in the shelter as a stray. They're usually traumatized from this experience. So then when you go to adopt them, typically you don't get to see their real personality at the shelter, and you don't really know what you're getting sometimes just because they can be so traumatized. And I got some of that information from a scholarly article from EBSCOhost, and that was just talking about why people adopt the pets that they do, and like the number one thing that they said was important was personality, but the personality does end up being hindered just because when they're in the shelter they are traumatized. And then here's my references, and at this part I want to ask you guys some questions or any discussion on this topic.
So you mentioned the National Mill Dog Rescue. Have you ever been out there to volunteer?
Yes, I have. I've been out there with a volunteer named Linda, and she showed me around the facilities, and I haven't done a whole lot of hands-on volunteering except for going to their fundraiser walks. But with those, I participated with family and dogs that have been adopted from them, and yeah.
Do you know many people who have adopted from pet shelters?
I do actually. I've adopted from pet shelters. I know a lot of friends and family have, and other peers and classmates that I've met. Typically these days, most people prefer to adopt from shelters versus pet stores just because they have such a bad reputation.
The pet stores have bad reputation?
The pet stores, yeah, have a bad reputation.
Well, and pet stores seem to have a problem with the dogs getting sick.
That's because they come from the puppy mills, typically, and they aren't treated well. They don't get the right kind of health care, the right kind of vaccinations or anything.
What could we do right now if we wanted to, say, donate some money?
My favorite organization would probably be the National Mill Dog Rescue, just because that one's, for one, local, and for two, just because they really do help such a good cause. They take dogs out of really terrible situations in puppy mills. I mean, all these other organizations take dogs off the streets, but I feel like the puppy mill is definitely a bigger issue.
I think you can find all of those by looking on the internet, and it'll give you the sources that you need to donate.
What is a puppy mill?
A puppy mill is a place where they just strictly breed animals, and they just have them in cages, and they have males and females obviously, but they have the females kept up just for breeding purposes, and they have their puppies. They take them and ship them straight to like the puppy store, and the moms are just left over to just kind of die and breed, and that's it. Is that it for questions? Okay. And then lastly, just for closing, I just want to thank you guys again for listening to my speech and listening to this topic, and have a good day.